back to the channel. So today we've got a Metta Sandyford or Artest build. So that's what he goes by now. Obviously he's been known as Ron Artest and Metta World Peace among other names. But this will be a real two-way pure lockdown type of build. So you'll be able to do a fair bit with this build, but mainly it'll be a very good perimeter defender. So make sure he's a small forward, and we'll move on to the body settings. So for Metta Artest or Sandyford Artest, he's going to sit at 6'7" on basketballreference.com. So that's the height we're going to go with. In terms of the weight, he was a strong man when he played. He was quite physical, quite large in terms of his width. He had big shoulders. But we're just going to drop the weight to 198 pounds just to have a bit of speed and things. And then in terms of the wingspan, we're going to bump that to 7'4" just to help with some defense. Body shape, I just chose built because he was quite a big guy. We'll move on to the attributes. So like I said, Artest was definitely, he's a perimeter defender, but he could do a lot of other things as well on the offensive end of the floor. He's had seasons where he's averaged 20 points a game, I think, with Sacramento. He's had seasons in the high teens. He's had seasons where he shot high 30% from three-point land. He had a 39.9% three-point average for a season. So he could definitely shoot. He could definitely slash as well. He's a very good slasher, using his strength a bit like LeBron does to move players out of the way. And he was an all-star. He was a defensive player of the year in 03 and 04. Along with an All-NBA team selection, along with 4 All-Defensive team selections. So he was much more than just a defender, particularly in his prime. So that's what the build's going to represent. But in saying that, close shot's going to go to 85. I think if you're a forward or a center, I think you should have 85 close shot, because you'll get particularly if you want to be able to score down low. If you want to be just purely perimeter, it's probably not so important. But if you wanted to be a versatile or a pure slasher type of player, I think 85 close shot is recommended, because it does give you that gold fast twitch, which I think is a great badge to have. In terms of the driving layup, we're just going to push that to an 80 just to get to you most of the layup packages. Obviously, the long athlete layup package is 88. If you wanted that, you could bump it up, but I think 80 will be fine. There's plenty of really great packages at 80 driving layup. In terms of the driving dunk, he could post to people, particularly in his younger years. So we're going to push that to an 86. So at 84, of course, you get the pro contacts off 1 and 2. And then 85, you get the silver posterizer. And then 86, you get the gold limitless takeoff. So you will have the 16 badge points here. So there is an ability to put an extra badge point with your +4 into finishing. Be able to call limitless takeoff gold and then get posterizer on silver. You'll miss out on slithery finisher, but you'll have the ability to dunk over opponents pretty much with that silver posterizer and gold limitless takeoff. In terms of the shooting, like I said, he was quite a decent shooter. He was very streaky, he wasn't very consistent, but on seasons where he was, in some seasons here and there, he was quite good. So I think he was quite a decent shooter. In terms of mid-range shot, we're just going to push that to a 69. Just to get some badge points, but most importantly, the 3-point shot is going to go to an 81. So at 81, you just get that gold catch and shoot, because primarily he was a catch and shoot type of, shooter or perimeter scorer. He wasn't really a shot creator like we would think of, a James Harden or something like that. He's definitely off the catch. Free throw is going to go to a 70. He did average about 71.5% on his free throws. He wasn't a terrific free throw shooter. It's about average. But you do have the 16 shooting badges here. A lot of the decent badges, in Tier 1 and 2 will make you a very good shooter with an 81 3-point shot, I think. Particularly if you can time your jump shot at that sort of rating. But you do have the capability to get blinders on silver, core that. And then maybe you can get Agent 3 and then have an extra badge point left over to use somewhere else. But you've definitely got an ability to get at least 2 Tier 3 badges. In terms of playmaking, he wasn't a particularly special playmaker, only averaging about 2.5 assists per game for his career. But what we're going to do is we're just going to push pass accuracy to 76, just to get the extra badge point, but also the LeBron passing style at 75. And then ball handle is going to go to 87, purely to get the goal clamp breaker, because he was quite a good slasher to the rim, particularly in those seasons where he was a primary scorer. And then with speed with ball, we're going to push that to a 77 as well, just to boost some badge points and also have a decent level of speed at 6'7". So You'll have the 21 badges here. So you'll have 11 left over once you use your 10, and you can use that, as a core clamp breaker. Have, still 11 left. Put on handles for days, and then maybe put an extra badge or 2 into playmaking to get unpluckable as well. So you will have a fair few points here to make yourself a pretty decent shot creator off the bounce. But this is really where the build's going to shine. This is what we made the build for, because he's just a fantastic defender. So what we're going to do is we're going to push interior defense to 55. That'll just get bumped up with other things. But here's really where it's going to set yourself apart on defense. We're going to push perimeter defense to a 97. So at 97, of course, you get the Hall of Fame clamps. So you will have Hall of Fame clamps with this build. At 6'7" with a 7'4" wingspan, that will make you very balanced on the perimeter. Be able to take on those little guards and also take on the, those bigger forwards that can dribble a bit too. You'll have the size and still the athleticism to guard them very well. And along with that, we're going to push steel to 95. So as we know, at 95 we get that gold glove. So we'll have the gold glove as well to go with this build. So you'll be an incredibly effective defender on the perimeter. We're also going to push block to 75 because while he didn't average a heap of blocks, I had the points left over to push it up a bit higher. And you just get the gold chase down artist at 75. And I just think it's a good rating to have. I think gold chase down artist is really, it's pretty niche. I don't know how many people are putting it on gold, but I do notice a fair bit of difference when I put it on gold. I feel like it really has an effect. So if you have the points, in your layout left over, definitely think about it. But you've got a decent block rating there anyway, which I think is handy. And then rebounding, I'll just push to 70 just to get the silver rebound chaser, just to have something to go there in case you're playing power forward here and there. And, he didn't average a heap of rebounds, but you may play power forward here and there. I just wanted to give you that ability to grab some boards. In terms of the physicals, I'm just going to push speed to 76 and keep acceleration at 77. 75, sorry, for speed, and acceleration 77. You're not terribly slow, but you're not terribly fast either. You're probably in the middle, and I think you should be fine with that with this type of build. Strength's going to stay at 47. I would love to have got this higher, but I just felt with the build, I didn't want to use the points and cost, other parts of the build to bump strength up. Vertical's going to go to a 75 to get the contact dunks, and the rest is going to go on stamina for 90 stamina. And that's the build. So in total, we have the 16 finishing, 16 shooting, 21 playmaking, and 22 defensive badges for a total of 75 badges on this pure lockdown build. That's got 87 ball handle with the gold clamp breaker, got contact dunks, really high close shot, and can hit shots from the perimeter. It's practically a three-way, a three-level scorer, shot creating type of player that has elite defense. So you'll be able to affect the game in so many different ways with this build, which I think is going to make it so much fun to use. So that's the build. We'll take a look at the takeovers. So I just chose Extreme Clamps just because, at his core, he was a defender, Defensive Player of the Year in 04. And then perimeter badge drop as well because he was very intimidating as well, and people would often try and get away from him on the court. As you can see, you've got shades of Gerald Wallace, Mikal Bridges, and OG Anunoby. Gerald Wallace was very similar to Ron Artest, very good defender, was pretty streaky from 3 but could definitely hit, and had a really good slashing game. So similar size, I think that's a very good likeness, but you've made a two-way inside-out scorer, and we'll take a look at the badges. So for finishing for Artest, I just think, fearless finish is going to be great, fast switch will be great. There's your 10 just to start off with. You can go into finishing, put an extra badge point into finishing just so you can core limitless takeoff on gold, and then use your other 6 to put posterizer on gold. And there you go, you've got, those backdoor cuts. If you catch one under the rim, you can get up real quickly. You got the fearless finish to help with your layups, and then posterizer and limitless takeoff to help with your dunks as well. So you'll be able to definitely finish with this build. Now for shooting, I just think for Artest, probably just going to want catch and shoot. Put that on gold, and then the rest you probably just want to look at. Green Machine. He was very streaky, so Green Machine could definitely be one to put on. And then Amped just to help with some stamina. And then down here in tier 3, with a 6 left, you can definitely put on, if you want to be a shot creator type of player, definitely put on Agent 3. You can core that. Actually, we'll uncore that. We'll put it on Blinders. and put Agent 3 on as well. And you could probably use that to hit a bit more effectively on those you know, off the dribbles threes. But if you're making an off the catch type of player, I think you probably want to put on Deadeye. I think Deadeye is much better to have as a catch and shoot player, and then blinders may not be as appropriate. So what you can do is you can core Deadeye and then put other things on, like, you know, Claymore, spotting up patiently, that can definitely help. You know, volume shooter, if you're getting a lot of catch and shoots, that can help. But corner specialist, maybe just get an extra boost, but there's definitely a lot of versatility here with the 16 badge points. Now in terms of playmaking, you know, there's a lot here you can do. You can put quick first step onto gold, and then with the other ones, you know, put it on, you know, if you're playing power forward a bit, break starter could be something. But just to get the badge points to get to tier 3, we'll just put on the passing ones. I think they're quite handy to have. So, you know, needle threader, dimer, break starter, even on bronze, if you get some boards, that could be really handy. Then down here, of course, you know, you can core clamp breaker, put on unpluckable, and then use an extra couple of badge points, maybe to get handles for days. You're going to be dribbling a lot, or maybe even killer combos. You know, you've got a lot of versatility here. You probably only get 3 out of the 4 tier 3 badges, but I think that should get you by with this type of build. Now for defense, you know, you've got 22 badge points here, which is not a heap considering how high your ratings are, but I think, you know, you should just keep it core to what you're probably going to be playing, which is a perimeter defender. So, you know, pick dodger, Hall of Fame, off-ball pest, Hall of Fame. You know, you've got Menace could definitely go on. What I'll do is I might just put Chase Down Artist on bronze. We'll just drop pick dodger down just to get the 10 points so that we can core clamps, put on glove gold. And you've still got 5 left over. You could put 2 more into defense to get interceptor on gold. That could definitely work, and you've got yourself, you know, a really effective perimeter defender. All in all, that's the build. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a really great day.